Good day everyone, I am Rika Joy M. Alcantara from BSHM 1C and the lesson for today is all about Module 8, The Future Self. Section 1, The Future Self, Our Past, Present, and Future. Intended Learning Outcomes. At the end of this section, students are expected to first, enumerate and discuss the factors significant in one's future. Second, formulate goals and action plans that will help one in preparing for the future. And third, synthesize and evaluate the different aspects of one's future self necessary in preparing for the future. Lesson Introduction. We always hear from our elders the saying that it's good to go back to the past because we wouldn't be here where we are today if without them. We know that everything has a meaning because it is in accordance with the plan of destiny. Nothing will happen in the future if our past has not gone well. We wouldn't be here where we are if it wasn't for the past. Many of us have forgotten our past as Filipinos and what we were aware of before and also to ourselves. There are events in our past that have changed what we have now and will be used for the development of our future. Towards an optimistic future. So what does it mean? Optimism enables us to cope with stressors in the present as it supports us to expect a better future at some point. And even if the future doesn't take place as planned, optimism helps us bounce back from disappointments as there is ongoing expectation that things will get better eventually. So this optimism means that we are given a way to better cope with the current problems and this serves as a guide for our future to be better. And even if the future doesn't turn out as planned, optimism helps us bounce back from disappointments because there is constant hope that things will eventually get better. Understanding the self is not just about knowing and recognizing oneself as a product of different life factors. The self and its potentials and limits can be more thoroughly understood by using a time-oriented lens, which focuses on how the self evolves from being the self of the past, of the present, and the possible self in the future. So this means that understanding ourselves is not only about knowing and recognizing oneself as a product of various factors in life. It is our own potential and limitations that can be better understood. It seems that this is the way we can change ourselves from the past to the present and it may possible happen to us in the future. There is now a growing interest among scholars in studying the future-oriented aspect of the concept of the self. Studying this primarily deals with the motivational and socio-cognitive aspects of an individual's conceptualization of he or she can become in the future. This time-oriented conceptualization of the self importantly explains how individuals construe their sense of self by using temporal perspectives in self-interpretation and the processes that individuals use in conceptualizing what one can possible or potentially become. So basically, this study mainly discussed the motivational and socio-cognitive aspects of an individual's concept of who he is and who he will be in the future. There seem to be focused concepts and important explanations for how individuals interpret their emotions. From a social cognitive perspective, people's personalities are influenced by observing the behaviors of others. For example, there's a teenager goes to a party and notice that people who drink alcohol slurring their speech and become more argumentative and noisy than people who don't drink alcohol. However, wherever we go, there are people who like to observe their surroundings, especially the young people today. We all know that some of us wants to escape, to distract ourselves from the problems we're carrying, so observation is one of the ways that people can use to minimize what they're thinking about. Soren Kierkegaard once said that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. What he meant in this quote is that an individual has the capability to plan for his or her future if he or she is able to understand and retrospectively reflect on experiences, past choices and decisions, and past behaviors. Apart from the past, one also has a more direct control over present circumstances. One may not be able to change what he or she has gone through in the past, but he or she can certainly do something in the present. Understanding the past and taking control of the present can lead to an optimistic future. So, in this quote of Soren Kierkegaard said that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. It seems that no matter what happens, we need to look back at where we came from, especially in our life experiences. This is one of the tests in life that we need to overcome. This is where we will know and measure if there is any changes in ourselves. Apart from the past, one also has more direct control over current events. A person may not be able to change what he went through in the past, but he can certainly do something in the present. Understanding the past and taking control of the present can lead to a better future. Time perspectives theory. The time perspectives theory of Philip Zimbardo in 1999 explains how people envision their experiences. People are likely to sort, categorize, and analyze their human experiences into past, present, and future time frames. Influenced by personal, social, and institutional factors, and coherent manner which leads to making decisions that can balance the past, present, and future. The theory also warns the people against making decisions dominated by only one time frame. So, in Philip Zimbardo's time perspectives theory in 1999, he informs or explains to us how people have handled their past experiences. So, in planning and setting goals, it should be based on something learned from the past and contextualized by the present that can facilitate future growth and development. The theory also warns people against making decisions that are dominated by a single time frame.
First, present hedonistic. Individuals tend to be risk-takers, driven by sensory, concrete factors, and driven by pleasurable sensations. Present hedonistic, this time perspective is fixated on the pleasure and satisfaction of the present, with the thought of the past or the future. People who have a present hedonistic perspective prioritize instant gratification and happy right now. And present fatalistic. Individuals are those who feel their lives are out of their control and that no matter what they do, things will not turn out as what they planned them to be. Present fatalistic, the perception that the present moment is predefined and that future occurrences are beyond our control constitution the present fatalistic. People who perceive the present from the fatalistic perspective often feel vulnerable or dejected about their power to change the future and may find it difficult to set objectives or make plans for the future. Third, past positive. Individuals are likely to remain in their comfort zone, their action influenced by what has worked in the past. Past positive, the insistence on positive memories and past events is a defining feature of this time's viewpoint. People who have a positive outlook on the past often have fond memories of the past and utilize those memories to guide their present experiences and future objectives. Fourth, past negative. Individuals like past positive ones are always occurred on the past but being on the negative side. They tend to focus on the wrong decisions, they have made in the past and constantly regret them. As negative, the focus of this time perspective is on deplorable past events and memories. People who have a negative outlook on the past may grapple with feelings of regret or grief, and they may base their present experiences and future objectives on regretful recollections. Fifth, future-oriented individuals base on their present choices and action on long-term consequences. Future-oriented this time perspective is concerned with devising objectives and aspirations for the future to attain desired outcomes. People who have a future-focused view are more proactive and upbeat about their prospects, and they make decisions now based on their long-term objectives. According to Zimbardo, a healthy perspective is one that combines past, present, and future time perspective, remembering past lessons and gaining insight from both positive and negative experiences, maximizing present opportunities and circumstances, and planning for the future can have positive outcomes for any individuals. In this context, students entering college, students carry with them both positive and negative experiences from high school that may serve as reminder on how they should present themselves in the college setting. As college students, they are expected to comply with the academic demands of their course programs. While these experiences are part and parcel of most students' college life, what is important is to never lose sight of their goals, both short-term and long-term. What they do in the present will shape the entirety of their college life, assuming that they are conscious of how their present decision will affect the future. Thus, taking note of these perspectives can certainly help college students in determining their futures within personal and professional contexts.
Section 2. The possible selves. Intended learning outcomes. At the end of this section, students are expected to first, identify and explain how past and present experiences shape future possibilities. Second, observe how the premises of possible selves theory are applied in their daily lives. And third, come up with proximal and distal long-term goals. Lesson Introduction. We all have priorities and aspects to prioritize in order to meet our current and future goals. In the current era, it is necessary to consider that the things that we know and will be the answer to our good future. What we were then, let's make it an inspiration in everything because we have to be strong in facing the future.
The possible selves. Hazel, Marcus, and Paula Nurius, they refers to the different representation of the self derived from the past to the future. The possible selves are viewed as the positive aspect of the self that contribute to an individual motivation in his or her goals and present action that will potentially lead into attaining desired and expected self-outcome in the future. So according kay Hazel and Paula, the possible selves hay kimugit. Kimugo umpisaro imo mga motivation nimo para ma-handom nimo imo nga gusto sa ulihi. The possible selves theory. May 6 nga premise to possible theory. Una, the first premise of the theory is that the possible selves is both a motivational resource and behavioral blueprint of the self. So makita mo sa unang premise nga rado imo nga short term ag long term goals in the end, tapos di imo nga motivation agro kapunta kara imo nga behavior imong pag-uugali. For example, ako mana gusto ko mag take it licensure exam as a teacher soon. So bago ako mag-take, kailangan ko mag motivation sa akong sarili para what pag alinlangan nga magsabat imo nga behavior ayaw hindi mag aywanan imo nga ka-focus ka sa imo nga study para as mag itugon hay waon gid it parang ma-block out ka agud sa ulihay makamit nimo ag mapasa nimo duy nga exam. So in the future ikaw andoy isagang ka licensure teacher, magiging LP. The second premise is that not all future selves are positive. Future selves revolve around three ideas: what one might become, auto selves, what one would like to become, ideal or hope for selves, and what one might afraid or feared selves. So, tanan gid man hay bukon it positive do ato nga ginakaharap. May una nga negative sa atong kabuhi. So, do nga negative nga ron, parang do yun do isang way para mag-purso palalo para sa ulihin makita mo ro imo nga positive way nga naging negative ka to tapos do yun do rason kung haman ka nag lift pa mas lalo sa imo nga goals. Like kunyari parang agang-agang ka sa imo nga goal, parang mag-give up ikaw. So isipon niyang premi nga may positive way pa, hindi maglugmok, hindi kung nano pa mag-isip, mag-overthink, natural gat ang mag-isip nga may negative. Pero do yun do isang bagay nga kailangan mo pa mag-build, kailangan mo pa mag-pursue, kailangan mo pa magtibay mas lalo to achieve the goal what we want in the end. May down and up kitang ginatawag. So do yun do kapatibay pagit ka lalo the fear itself.
The third premise is that one's future self is intertwined with his or her past and present selves. For example, if one's future goal is to be a successful professional in his or her chosen field, then he or she should exert extra effort in making sure he or she pass his or her courses despite them being difficult. The fourth premise is that future selves are a product of social interaction. How one's future is foreseen is a product of social context, family, peers, and college, schools and other institutions, the society, and the digital world. Family experiences shape ideal conceptions of one is future family. The manner of interaction with peers influences the way of dealing with professional college in the future. Schools, social institutions, and the society expose one to standards that can be carried in his or her present and the future lives. The technological landscape, the millennials are exposed to social media, web application, technology-driven resources has shaped their future ambitions in determining the digital legacy they want to leave behind.
This is the fifth premise. The fifth premise is that life transition have an enabling influence on one's future selves and that people are not passive recipients of this change. The last premise is that the people are motivated to work on goals that are more immediate than those which are not. Setting short-term and long-term goals is one way to ensure that their future self is fulfilled. Having a clear vision of the future planning and waiting present option can lead to an optimistic future. Human beings are gifted with the reasoning and logic and have a power and agency to shape their future while living in the present.